Crypto Don, Augusto, welcome. I know you're brand new. Cool. I'm very excited for today. We have an incredible here. I'll put it in the chat here. We have an incredible report that we put out. Actually, for anybody that is new, let's do it like this. Anybody's first call, anybody's first live stream with us, brand new. Let's go, Alan. I'm glad you're here. Well, Alan, and for anybody else here, we like to do these end of week reports, and it's a nice big document. David's the one that spearheads this thing. He does an incredible job putting this together. And let's see, is David in the house today? Is David in the house? He is. David, what up? Let me invite you. David does a really good job of putting the bones of this thing together every week. And what we try to do is try to give a nice market report, kind of like what's happening on the macro scale of kind of crypto and DeFi right now. Then we start to go more granular. We start to look at different opportunities that we see, look at the charts, look at the TA and the use case of different opportunities. And then we share our own personal positions. We talk about major updates in the OIG. It's a nice recap for the week. And so one of my favorite calls that we do here, and it's usually David and I. So we'll, David, what up, yo. Yeah, I love it.
All right. Hey, Colin.
Good to see you. Good
to see you too. Ready to rock and roll here a little bit?
Yes, sir. Dude, I got a lot of energy, so I'm going to try to bottle it up and remain nice and calm for the rest of this, but I'm bouncing off walls today.
No, that's good. So, Colin, I am ready to rock and roll if you are, and we can hop right into the report. I'm just going to go ahead and bring it up on another screen over here. Let me bring up the community feed, grab the report, and now I've got it on that screen, and I am ready to rock and roll. You ready to dig into this here?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's dive in.
All right, let's do it. Okay, awesome. So I want to go ahead and bring this tab over yonder and make sure that everyone can see my screen here. Looking good, yeah? All right.
I got you good, David.
Good. Let's rock and roll. So today, March 22nd, 2024, we're talking about seizing opportunity on pullbacks. But also, I really wanted to explain what I think the reason is for the recent correction. I think that it comes down to one thing: supply and demand. And really, I think it comes down to Grayscale's GBTC ETF. There are significant outflows from GBTC, and those outflows are being matched for the most part by inflows into the BlackRock and Fidelity ETFs. So I put together a couple of charts here. Well, I didn't put them together. I grabbed them from the block. Great source of information, real-time data about these ETFs. And what we see here, these on-chain total net flows, we see significant outflows over the last couple of days. And the net flows are now negative just over the last couple of days in these Bitcoin ETFs. And the culprit is the GBTC ETF. There have been nearly $9 billion in outflows from the GBTC ETF. So that is pretty significant, but net, the flows have been positive because BlackRock and Fidelity's ETF are seeing massive inflows. So since launch, this is BlackRock's ETF. Since launch, it has garnered 15 billion in assets. Really significant inflows into that BlackRock ETF, and something similar with the Fidelity ETF, 9 billion in inflows. So that is really significant there. And if we take a look at the spot Bitcoin ETF assets under management, ex GBTC, what we're seeing here is consistent flows into these ETFs. But where is the supply coming from? It's coming from the GBTC ETF. So individual investors, and if you take a look at the size of the Bitcoin sales, what you see is that it's not whales selling. It's small wallets, with 1 Bitcoin or less, or 10 Bitcoin or less, smaller wallets selling BTC and GBTC. the Grayscale ETF selling BTC, who's buying it? BlackRock and Fidelity. They're scooping it up as fast as they can get it. So over the last couple of days, net flows have been negative, which I think helps to explain the correction in BTC. Now, what I really want to highlight here is this breakout above the old all-time high at 69K. This breakout, because it did not hold above the breakout level from 69K, is referred to as a false breakout. So we had this false breakout in BTC, and then just the other day, we came back up towards that level to test it and were rejected by it. So I'm really watching this level, that 69K level, to determine, when the all clear signal is going to be given for new all-time highs in BTC. But it's not just BTC that I'm watching. I'm also watching a couple of other charts, 4 in particular. And the first one that I'm watching here is ETH BTC. And so I'm watching this as a proxy for much of the altcoin market. And I really want to see ETH break out against its Bitcoin pair. So I've been watching this trend line for months now. And, I do think that we have a bottoming pattern here, but ETH really needs to make a move to the upside against BTC. If and until we see that happen, I think that Bitcoin dominance is going to increase. That's chart number 4. We're going to get to that in a second. So alt season. What is alt season? Well, I'll tell you what it's not. Alt season is not a handful of layer 2 assets or a handful of competing layer 1 assets or just a handful of alts, period, outperforming BTC. That is not what alt season is. Alt season is the entirety of the alt space really outperforming BTC and Bitcoin dominance just breaking down. And so we're not seeing that yet. Instead, we're seeing only a handful of alts outperform BTC. And so I'm watching those alts to signal, hey, when should I be loading up my bags of altcoins in the Salana ecosystem? And so Salana is one of the assets that I've been watching against Bitcoin quite a bit recently. And what I see here is a ascending trend line. I see the 200-day moving average right here as support. And I do think that, once we have a little bit more of a correction here in Salana against Bitcoin, I think that Salana moves higher against Bitcoin. And what this level up here implies is fresh all-time highs in Salana, not just against its US dollar pair, but against Bitcoin, which I think is extremely important because I want to be able to protect the Satoshi value of my portfolio. So watching Sol BTC, and I'm also watching AVAX BTC. Now, why? Well, because AVAX and Sol have shown relative outperformance against their BTC pairs since Q4 of last year. And so I'm watching AVAX to continue to hold its 200-day SMA support, the 200-day simple moving average. And we bounced off of that support just a couple of weeks ago. And I think that AVAX is going to move higher against BTC in the near term because AVAX is starting to embrace altcoins, embrace meme coins, really. The Avalanche Foundation is actually buying some meme coins and Avalanche meme coins. And I think that could drive more volume through the AVAX C chain and throughout the Avalanche ecosystem, as well as Avalanche's significant corporate partnerships with companies like Amazon. But the real signal for when alt season is going to begin is right here with Bitcoin dominance. So when we start to see something like this, like what we saw in spring 2021, when we see Bitcoin dominance really break down and move to the downside quickly, that's when we know, okay, alt season has really begun in earnest. If and until that happens, I think we're going to see continued Bitcoin appreciation against the entire altcoin space. My target is maybe up here around 60% with a breakout above 55%, signaling a move to 57% right here. So I'll be watching those 4 charts closely to determine, hey, when is alt season beginning? So with that said, let's dive into how we can make some money from this. So number one,